You know, I started several years ago coming to the floor of the Senate, not just speaking about the DREAM Act, but telling their stories. It was something that I came to because I finally witnessed their courage and realized I had to share it here on the floor of the Senate. When I first started talking about the DREAM Act and undocumented young people who could be deported in a moment, torn away from their families and their lives, sent to a place they could never remember and facing a language they couldn't speak, they would very quietly wait until my meeting was over and come out in the darkness by my car as I'd go to leave meetings in Chicago and say, "Senator, I'm one of those kids who would be helped by the DREAM Act." They didn't want anyone to see them for fear of being deported. But over time, they came to realize that standing up with the courage to tell their stories, they risked deportation, but they put a face on this issue. It wasn't some politician giving a speech. It was a real life. And that's what they did. And as they came forward to tell their stories with their courage, I came to the floor of the Senate. These dreamers are an amazing group. The stories that I told on the floor included dreamers who grew up in 17 different states, from Arizona and Texas in the Southwest, Missouri and Ohio in the Midwest, North Carolina, Georgia in the Southeast. These talented young people came to America from all over the world, 19 different countries represented, and from every continent except Antarctica. Yet all of them share something in common. America is home. They're only asking for a chance to give back to their home. Today, I want to spend a minute or two and update the Senate on what happened to some of these dreamers since they received DACA, this deferred status, last year. Angelica Hernandez, brought to America when she was 9 years old. 2 years ago, Angelica graduated from Arizona State University, an outstanding senior in the mechanical engineering department with a 4.1 GPA. She just finished her first year of graduate school at Stanford University, where she's working on a master's degree in civil and environmental engineering with a focus on energy. Her dream is to dedicate her career to developing renewable energy. After receiving DACA, because of the President's executive order, this summer, Angelica will work at Enphase Energy, a solar energy startup company. This is Pierre Beristain. Pierre and his sister were brought to the United States from Peru in 1998 when they were children. Pierre didn't speak a word of English when he arrived in Texas, but he went on to receive a bachelor's degree with honors from Harvard University. He is currently pursuing a master's degree at Harvard's Divinity School. 2 years ago, Pierre co-founded the Restorative Justice Collaborative, a nonprofit organization which involves criminal offenders in the process of repairing the harm that they've done. Since he received DACA, Pierre was awarded one of only 10 Harvard Presidential Public Service Fellowships, so he can expand this organization. This is Carlos Martinez. Carlos and his brother were brought to the United States when he was only 9 years old. He graduated with honors with a Bachelor's of Science degree in computer engineering from the University of Arizona. Carlos received job offers from Intel, IBM, and many high-tech companies. But he couldn't work because he was undocumented. So he went on to get a master's degree in software systems engineering at the University of Arizona. After receiving DACA, Carlos is finally able to work in America as an engineer. This Wednesday, he'll start a new job with IBM, a company that first tried to hire him 6 years ago when he was undocumented. Out of more than 10,000 applicants who applied to IBM, Carlos Martinez was one of only 75 people that they hired. This is Nelson and John Magdalene. They came to the state of Georgia from Venezuela. When Nelson was 11, John was 9. Nelson and John went to Georgia Tech University, one of the most selective engineering schools in America. Nelson graduated with an honors degree in computer engineering, and John is currently an honors student majoring in chemical and biomolecular engineering. After receiving deferred action, John is working in a biomedical engineering lab at Georgia Tech researching glaucoma, and he recently secured an internship with Eastman Chemical Company. Nelson is now working as a product engineer at Texas Instruments, one of America's top high-tech companies. Ola Queso, brought to the U.S. from Albania at the age of 5. What a superstar. Valedictorian of her high school class, she is now a pre-med student in the honors program at the University of Michigan. Her dream is to become a surgical oncologist. Can we use more of those? You bet. In 2011, I invited Ola to testify at a hearing on the DREAM Act. She was the first undocumented immigrant to openly testify before the United States Senate. It took amazing courage for this young woman. After receiving deferred action, this spring, Ola interned in the office of my colleague and friend, Senator Carl Levin. Here's someone that a few of those following the debate may recognize, Tolu Olabunmi. Tolu Olabunmi was brought to the United States from Nigeria when she was a child. In 2002, Tolu graduated with a degree in chemical engineering from Washington and Lee University in Virginia. For 10 years after graduating from college, Tolu couldn't work as an engineer. She spent her time working to pass the DREAM Act. Since receiving the deferred action, Tolu is working as an advocate for comprehensive immigration reform with the Center for Community Change. Last week, Tolu was introduced to America. She had the honor of introducing President Obama at a White House event on immigration reform. I met with the president last week. I asked him about those dreamers. And he said they came into the office, the Oval Office, and met with him, and he said there were tears in everyone's eyes as people realized the opportunity these young people might finally get if we pass comprehensive immigration reform. This is Erica Andiola, brought to our country from Mexico when she was 11 years old. Graduated with honors from Arizona State with a bachelor's degree in psychology, founder and president of the Arizona DREAM Act Coalition, an immigration group advocating for the passage of the bill. She received DACA and has since been working in Congress. She's the district outreach director for one of the Arizona delegation's newest members, Representative Kristen Sinema. And now I'd like you to meet Carlos and Rafael Robles. Carlos and Rafael were brought to the United States as children. They grew up in suburban Chicago in my home state of Illinois. They were both honors students at Palatine High School and Harper Community College. Carlos is now attending Loyola University in Chicago, majoring in education. With DACA, Carlos can pursue his dream to become a teacher, and he will have the opportunity to student teach at a suburban high school in the Chicagoland area. Rafael is at the University of Illinois in Chicago, where he's majoring in architecture. After receiving DACA, Rafael is working at Studio Gang Architects, an award-winning architecture firm in the great city of Chicago. And this is Jose Magana. Jose was brought to the United States from Mexico at the age of 2, graduated valedictorian in his high school, first member of his family to attend college. In 2008, he graduated summa cum laude from Arizona State University with a major in business management. Jose went on to graduate from Baylor University Law School. After receiving DACA, Jose began working with the Mexican-American Legal Defense Fund, a leading civil rights organization. And this week, Jose will be sworn in as a member of the bar, which he was unable to do before President Obama's executive order 1 year ago. Now, to hear the stories of these amazing young people is to realize the benefits that immigration has always meant for America. Imagine what will happen when 11 million undocumented immigrants have the opportunity to come out of the shadows and be part of America. Like these dreamers, they will be able to contribute even more to this country they worked so hard to come to and worked so hard to stay in and now call home. Legalization will open the earning potential for millions of people. They'll be able to pursue jobs to match the skills they have instead of working and being exploited in the underground economy. It's the right thing to do, and it will make America stronger. Mr. President, it was so disappointing last week that the Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives passed an amendment to cut off funding for this program. That's right. All of these young people who've received a chance, the first chance ever to be part of America's future, would have the program shut down by a vote last week in the U.S. House of Representatives. The supporters of this amendment want to deport these young people. They make no bones about it. They believe that they should leave. Their belief is that if these dreamers are forced out of a country, deported to some other country, that we'll be a stronger nation because of that. What are they thinking? To lose people like Carlos Martinez and Tolu Olabumi, these young people can make a difference, a positive difference for America. It is shameless, absolutely shameless, for those who play with the lives of these young people. These are people who need a chance. They don't need to be the victims of some political gambit. And it would be bad for our America's future if they leave. We couldn't possibly be stronger if Angelica Hernandez could work on future renewable sources of energy, and Ola Queso could no longer be the researcher in cancer that she wants to be. The answer is clear. We need to pass comprehensive immigration reform on a bipartisan basis right here in the Senate. We have waited way too long. Over 25 years, this broken immigration system has not done these people justice, nor has it done America justice.